So you heard that you can make a whole lot of money with Airbnb, except you forgot one key detail. You don't actually own a property. Yeah, before you hit the panic button, we got a couple of options for you. How to make money from Airbnb without actually owning a property because you don't have the property for that. There's a few ways to do it. We have the Airbnb rental arbitrage, fractional real estate investing, which isn't strictly Airbnb, co hosting, and the Airbnb host referral program. Airbnb rental arbitrage is basically you sign a lease with a landlord and a corporate lease, make sure. And basically, you furnish the place, you create the listing, and you price it. You manage all the bookings and the guests. And basically, you write an agreement saying, hey, I'm going to rent out your place for a long term, and you rent it for the short term. For example, you rent it out for a month, and you create an Airbnb listing that goes by the day. It costs the first month's rent, a deposit most likely, and probably furniture if you gotta furnish this yourself. Pros, you can enter the short term rental world without having to actually own a rental property. You don't have to worry about the mortgage because it's not your property. You don't need to sell property if you decide, oh, this isn't the life for me. And it's much faster to scale than traditional purchasing because you don't have to actually go through and purchase these properties. You're just Airbnbing it. And also because you're actually paying for the property, you can chill in there. So if you decide you want a vacation home, you can just sleep there. Cons. In order to actually, get into this arbitrage, you have to get the landlord's permission. You can't just rent out a place and then start Airbnb-ing it. It's also one of the more expensive options in this list because you have to pay the monthly rent no matter what. Let's say nobody books it for the entire month. If you agree to pay the monthly rent, you have to pay the monthly rent. You also have to deal with utilities, cleaning, repairs, taxes, etc. And there's also legal regulations. Please check the area that you live in. And also, most of the time, if there's damage, you have to deal with that yourself. That's not the landlord's problem, that's your problem. Oh, but I don't want to deal with people like that. That's a lot of commitment. I want to stay clear of people. Well, don't worry, because there is also fractional real estate investing, which is basically like owning a stock, right? So the main idea behind this is that you own a small piece of real estate, like buying stocks from a company. You earn a portion of the rental income based on how much you own. It's fairly straightforward. The starting prices can be from like $10. So it costs whatever you're willing to pay. Pros: low barrier of entry because you don't need that much capital to start. There's passive income potential. You don't have to deal with the actual stuff that landlords deal with because you're just a partial owner. It's not your property. And there's also shared risk because there's the implication that other people are also investing in this trust fund sort of thing. Cons: it is very hard to resell this property because you have to find someone who actually wants to buy. Also, you have little control on property management because you own very little of the property. Go figure. Also, management and platform fees, depending what platform you use to actually get into this investment, can eat on your dividends and your returns. And also, a lot of upfront research is required to make sure that you're not investing in a building that is 3 minutes away from collapsing in on itself. Oh, but I don't have money. If I had money, I wouldn't be in this. Fair enough. Well, do I have such a thing for you? We have Airbnb co hosting, which is one of the more preferred methods. The main idea is you do the brunt work of an Airbnb host and earn a percentage from every booking. Basically, you manage the guests, the cleaners, the price updates. You're the one who does basically everything. You coordinate everything, you create the listing, all of that. Costs? No money required, only your sanity and your expertise. Pros: you don't have to worry about mortgage because, once again, you don't own the property. There's zero financial risk. If no one books, you don't have to worry about paying a monthly fee because you didn't rent it. It's just an agreement between you and the landlord. And it's also super, super scalable. So if you find you're really good at this, you can find another person, say, hey, do you want to co host? And you also learn how to manage properties because there's no better teacher than life herself. There's also the cons that it's not very proportional to how much work you put in, because typically you get paid like 10 to 30% higher if you're able to negotiate. But compared to the amount of work you're doing for some of the other things, it doesn't pay as much. Also, you are constantly on call. If you have a phone addiction, you will be right at home. But if not, if you're not glued to your cell phone, you will be soon. You are the first point of contact for all of the guests, and therefore, you cannot not respond. Also, since this is technically not your property, you're acting as an employee and you can be fired. And you have zero control over property management. You're the one who takes care of the listings and the Airbnb aspects. You can't change anything of the property itself. I don't want to go outside. That's a lot of work. That's alright. First of all, go touch some grass. Second of all, I got you. Airbnb also has a host referral program. Basically, you recruit people to become hosts and you make that money. You have a generated link and people sign up through that link and boom, you get paid. There are no sign up fees. You do have to deal with your own income taxes, but that's for later on if you actually make money. So, pros, you get paid in cash. It's a high payout compared to the amount of effort you put in. You're literally generating a link, telling people about it, and you get money if they sign up. You have no liability because, once again, it is not your problem because it is not your property. You can also apply to the ambassador program if you find out that this is what you want to do with your life. Now, there are a couple of cons. You don't actually get paid every time someone signs up. You get paid after the first guest of the host checks out. And there's also a time limit for how long your referral is valid. So if they click on the link, you have 180 days, which sounds like a lot of time, but really isn't, for the host to actually go in and sign up. If they don't sign up within that 180 days, if they sign up on day 181, you're not getting that money. I'm sorry. Also, the host must be a first time host. If they've hosted on Airbnb before, it is not valid. And there's also an annual cap to the amount of referrals that you can do, 25 per category per year. There are 3 categories. You can do up to 75 referrals. So, this have you thinking? Excellent. Now, go forth and be free and break in that money. And good job.